Katie, I'm just curious. This is a very spread out Olympics. How many hours today you spent on a train so far?
Buenos Aires, Ben. So today was a lighter day. I only had to take a bus and then another bus for about 45 minutes to get out here to Santa Julia Ice Hockey Arena where the U.S. women's hockey team is playing. But my high was probably the day that I had to travel to Cortina, which was like a 6 hour trip. I took a high speed train to Venice, a 2.5 hour bus up to my hotel, and then to get to Cortina the next day, I had to take another hour bus north to get up there. So, yes, a lot of transit.
You know what though? I think you wrote in your Globe article that Europe is kind of built for this with all the high-speed rails that they have. But with it being such a spread-out Olympics, in your opinion, what's the atmosphere like? Is that detracted from the atmosphere? Because I'll be honest, when I watch some of these events, it looks like a family and friends kind of crowd, not these big crowds that you expect from the Winter Olympics.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I think that a lot of these arenas aren't set up the way that we might expect them to be in the US. Like this arena, I think only seats like 7,000 here. And so they are expecting smaller crowds. It doesn't have as much of that Olympic feel as I thought. Granted, Milan is one of the biggest cities in the world, and all of the arenas for the events here are pretty much in the outer loop. And so it's from the center of the city, it's like 45 minutes to any of them. So when you're riding the train, sure, you see people in hockey jerseys, you see a lot of Team USA gear. But I did get to take a trip up to Cortina, and that's where it really felt like the Olympics. A big reason is because that town is super small. It's like 7,000 people year round, obviously balloons during ski season. But when you're walking up the main drag there, you see all types of gear. You see a lot of the support staff, coaches, a lot of athletes themselves. I ate a croissant next to some Australian skiers one day. And so you get more of the Olympic feel up there. And also some of the athletes were a little bit disappointed in it being a spread out games just because they didn't get to walk in the Parade of Nations in the opening ceremony at San Siro here in Milan. They did have smaller ceremonies at each of the sites. There are, I think, 4 of them. But, that does take away from some of it. That said, this is sort of the norm going forward for the Olympics, just because it really does reduce the need for building new venues for these games. And so the IOC, the International Olympic Committee, is really interested in reducing the environmental impact of hosting a games and making it just a little bit cheaper so more cities might be interested. So Milan's a great way to test this out because it's got a great transit system.
Well, the next games are in 2028 in LA. Not such a great transit system. It might take you 6 hours to get from downtown over to SoFi Stadium for some of these events. All right, moving on now, Katie. You know me, I love a good controversy. Tell me more about this curling controversy with Team Canada.
So you're asking the right person because I became a curling expert last week when I was covering the U.S. mixed doubles curling team with Southborough native Corey Dropkin, won a silver medal. Congrats to him. So here's the thing. It's called a hog line. It is the line that you cannot be touching the curling stone past. It is in green. It is on the ice. And actually the stones they have now have little sensors on them that will tell you if you've broken the rule or not. So that's an important word to remember because when they are sliding the curling stone up to the hog line, they have to let it go before then. What Canada has been doing is slightly touching the stone, not the handle, the stone, as it glides away from them. And this was a huge deal here. Sweden, who they were playing, had someone set up a camera that they knew would be able to capture Team Canada doing this because Team Canada has a reputation for cheating just a little bit. So obviously this all blew up. No ramifications yet. Team Canada is still in it, but obviously we love a weird cheating scandal at the Olympics in a sport we never talk about except for every 4 years. So yeah, it's kind of interesting.
I'm here for a curling scandal. And when you see the reaction for the Canadian athletes, they were aghast. How dare you accuse us of cheating? And then they have video that shows them yes, clearly touching it twice. So what's gonna be the fallout for all that?
I mean, the thing I learned about curling is that it's a big etiquette sport. Basically, if you accidentally touch a stone while you're sweeping, or if you make any sort of mistake, you're supposed to call it out on your own. So it's very much like gentlemen's or gentlewomen's rules. And so because nothing has really come of this yet, I think that Canada is going to be able to advance to the knockout rounds here. It seems unlikely that the IOC is going to step in, but who knows? We still have a couple more days of curling up in Cortina, so anything could happen.
All right, Katie, you've also been covering the figure skating a lot. Tell us just what have been your standout moments so far from covering the figure skating?
Well, that's an interesting one. It's very tense in there because you're always watching these incredible, miraculous jumps, and you're like, "Oh my God, is someone going to fall?" And that's what Ilya Malinin did twice the other night in the men's single skating. He was the I'm not even talking about presumptive gold medal favorite. Nobody can touch this man. The fact that he can do multiple quad jumps throughout a single routine means that his scores are so much higher than the next best competitor. But he did. He fell twice. He pulled out of some quads, and it meant that he tumbled from first place after the short program into eighth place after the long program, the free skate. And so that was very dramatic. It was really, you could feel the air come out of the arena when he fell again. Now, I'm not going to pretend I'm a figure skating expert. I was sitting next to another journalist, and I said to her, "So this is probably means he doesn't get gold, right?" She was like, "He might not even win a medal at all." And that's exactly what happened. I will say he was really vulnerable and gracious afterwards. He said that he was mentally not in the right place, that he wasn't focused on the right things, and he was so gracious to the winner from Kazakhstan. He's only 21 years old. He'll be back, but it was very, very intense. And you should have seen. I've never been more squished in a media situation than I was when I was trying to get quotes from Malinin after that.